I'm keeping track of everything that's happening in the story. Okay, now I'm going to keep reading. Why can't I meet one person who likes dinosaurs? It's not fair. You'll make friends, said his mother. Things will get better. It will just take time. No, it won't. They don't like me, and they never will, said Andy. Well, I'm sorry about that, but you still have to go to school, said Mother. Was there anything super important in those 4 sentences that I just read, in those 4 paragraphs? Was there anything super important that I need to stop and take note of? Camila, what do you think? You're nodding your head yes.
I forgot.
Okay. Anybody else? Is there anything important in those 4 sentences that I just read? Sarah, what do you think?
That, well, he wants to meet some else that likes dinosaurs, but he doesn't want it to happen like now and not make it take time.
Okay.
But he knows that it might not, but it probably will never happen because they are bullying him. No one likes dinosaurs in his class.
Okay. So, so Sarah was saying that he really wants to meet somebody who likes dinosaurs, but his mom's saying, well, it's going to take time. But he's like, well, I don't want it to take time. You know, I want to meet somebody now. And so I may just put a little note and just say, he really wants to have a friend. Okay. And I could also write that here. So that way I know one of the big things is he really wants a friend. Okay, now I'm gonna keep reading. When Andy walked into his classroom, he noticed that everyone was excited. He was curious. He wanted to know why everyone was talking at once. His teacher, Mrs. Penny, warned the class to be quiet. Then she introduced the new student. That's why everyone was excited. It's not every day that his class gets a new student. Okay, so what's important in this paragraph? Definitely something important. Kason, do you know what it is? Definitely something important that happens here. Okay, anybody? What happened?
I know.
What happened?
The class was so excited to get a new student.
They got a new student, okay? So I'm gonna say everyone was, I'm gonna underline, everyone was excited. She introduced the new student, and then I'm gonna say it's not every day that his class gets a new student. And then over here, if I'm taking it online, I can write, there is a new student in class. Okay, so that's the end of chapter, that's the end of this paragraph. So now I'm going to go to the next one. All right, so paragraph 7 says, hi, I'm Nick, said the new student. Everyone started cracking up. Nick was from another state, and he talked funny. The way he spoke was different than the way they spoke. Mrs. Penny warned the class to watch their manners. Andy didn't think it was funny. He knows what it feels like to be laughed at. Nick sat down with tears in his eyes. Okay, big thing. What happened here? Aiden, what happened?
The kids laughed at him because he had a funny voice since he was from another state.
The kids laughed at him because he had this funny voice and he talked different than everybody else. So, we're going to say underline, Nick was from another state and he talked funny. Everyone started cracking up. And then Nick sat down with tears in his eyes. Do you think I also need to underline where it says Andy didn't think it was funny? You think it's important for us to know that Andy didn't think it was funny?
Yes.
It is, right? So I'm also going to underline Andy didn't think it was funny because Andy actually knows how it feels to be made fun of. So that's also important for me to know. And then on the side right here, I can write Nick spoke different and the kids made fun of him. Okay. So now I'm going to keep reading. Before I read, what do you think this is? Think about my story elements on my plot mountain. Think about my story elements on my plot mountain. We've already done hook, character setting, problem. We may have even gotten rising action. So now this is my climax, right? So this is my climax or our turning point. The reason this is my climax or my turning point is because of the fact that Andy didn't think it was funny. So Andy is like, I know it's not funny. He's like, I know it's not. So this becomes my turning point because Andy is having this feeling of like, I know what it feels like to be in his shoes right now. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. During lunch, Nick was sitting at a table all by himself. He was afraid to talk to anyone. He didn't want them to laugh at him again. Andy came over and introduced himself. He said he liked the way Nick talked. Should I keep reading or you think I have something important?
You have something important.
Okay, what do you think, Camila?
So he said he liked the way Nick talks, so I think they're about to be friends.
Okay, so I'm gonna underline he said he liked the way Nick talked. I'm also gonna underline Andy came over and introduced himself. Okay, so then I'm gonna write right here, Andy introduced himself.
After this page, can you go back to number 1? Because I just got on Seesaw. I had to memorize the code.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm not there. We need to finish the story first. Nick smiled and took out his lunchbox. Andy put his lunchbox on the table at the same time. They both looked at the lunchboxes and then looked at each other. They had matching dinosaur lunchboxes. You like dinosaurs? Asked Andy. Of course, answered Nick. Who doesn't? Mom knows what she is talking about, Andy thought to himself. Things are getting better already. Okay, so what happened? 2 things. I have 2 things.
Andy found a friend.
Okay, so I know that Andy found a friend. Okay, what else happened, Aiden?
And that friend is Nick.
Oh, Gabriel, didn't ask. Not raising your hand.
They had matching dino lunch boxes.
Okay, they had matching dinosaur lunch boxes. Okay, and then like Gabriel said. So then Andy says, Mom knows what she is talking about. Things are getting better. So now we know that Andy has made this friend in Nick. So this is my resolution, right? Because now he's made this friend that also likes dinosaurs. So then right here I can say, Andy made a friend. And I can even put in parentheses, Nick. Okay, so here's what I want you to notice, okay? We started this maybe 15 minutes ago. So it has taken me 15 minutes to read, underline, label, and even write all of this out when I did this story, okay? It didn't take me that long. I also only used one sticky note to write this out. Now, yes, this is a shorter story, right? Because it was only 12 paragraphs. So it was a little bit of a shorter story. But it is not hard to do, is my point, okay? It is not hard to do this. So whenever you are taking the reading DLA on Wednesday, it's very, very important that you understand that writing things down, like I did on this sticky note, especially because we're taking it online, will be very, very helpful because then you can use this to help you answer the questions. Yes, Aiden.
So there's no falling action?
Well, I just don't need to label it. I just labeled the climax and the turning point. The falling action would be that they had matching dinosaur lunchboxes. I just didn't label it. Okay. Yes, Kason.
Do we have to circle them at the bottom, 10, 11, 12?
Do you have to circle them?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Taylor, now can you go back to number one?
Michael, Kason's talking right now.
Like, do we have to circle it?
No, you don't have to circle it. But I do want to see though, on everybody's stories on Seesaw that you've gone back and you've underlined and labeled like I have done. Okay? So Michael, listen, I don't want to put the first page back up because I want y'all to go back and do this. Because I know, just like I said, when we did Plot Mountain, I know how to make a Plot Mountain. I know how to go through a story and underline it and find the important parts. Now I want to see you do it. Now I want to see you go back and do it.
The first page actually looks so good. Hard.
It's not that hard. I promise it's not hard. I promise you can do it. It's not hard. I promise. It's not hard. But like I said, I know how to do this. I want to see if you can do it, especially because I've already read the story. So really all you're doing is going back and rereading it and remembering the important parts that I've read. And then you're going to answer the questions. Sounds good? We can handle this? Okay? Okay.